What is up, my sweet and spicy, sexy ass Edison enthusiasts? Today we are back for something a little different. I'm going to be calling it, I don't know, reviewing replays or something like that. I'm a fan of alliteration. But the TLDR here is I recorded a video for about half an hour, and to my shock and astoundment, when I looked over after said half an hour recording was done, I realized I hadn't recorded any of it. And that's a shame, because there was some beautiful commentary on it, which tragically now none of y'all will ever hear. But that's okay, because I figured, well, what I can do instead is something I haven't done before here on the channel, or anywhere, I think, for the most part, save for one time with my boy Gage. Shout out Gage, shout out Mythic Games TCG, check him out on YouTube. But I'll just be kind of talking over my replays. I'll kind of be discussing like where my headspace was at when I made certain plays, what I could have maybe done better, what my opponent could have maybe done better, and y'all can let me know down below if y'all agree or disagree with my analysis of these videos, or these games rather. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop into it. All right, so I'm gonna hit fast forward here, and I'm gonna wait for this until we get to see my hand. Okay, so right here we can already see I have a Nova Summoner set. I opened Nova Summoner, Decree, Fader, Honest, Christia, Trag. So this hand went kind of apeshit, right? Stupid good hand. We love this hand. All we needed for him to do was attack into the Nova Summoner and we won. Unbeknownst to us, you can see here that we also set the Decree. Homeboy's playing what seems to be like a disgusting stun deck, because he opened Gene Warped Warwolf, which, shoutouts to Warwolf, one of my favorite normal summons of all time. But he also opened like Dark Bribe, Fiendish, Drain, and Starlight Road. Like literally the most cancerous cards ever, right? So then we continue moving along. He draws Oppression, which like, I guess why? Why is kind of my question, right? Like why? I mean, I understand it's like another broken stun card, but I feel like Skill Drain and Fiendish are enough. Like you could side the Oppressions or side the Skill Drains. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb though and I don't know how to play stun. I asked me if the summon's good, and then we just go through. So he sets 5, and then in his end phase, whatcha, and then literally frame 2. Yeah. Oh, my bad. There it is. He immediately, he's like, okay, well, GG's after I draw my card. I thought it would have been much cooler if he just grouped immediately, but it is what it is, right? So not a whole bunch of play to, we can fast forward to deciding. All right. Not a whole bunch of play to analyze there, but coming up here, we'll take a look at my hand. So my hand is pretty decent. I got Fader, I got Caius, I got Braincon, I got Herald, I got Nova, right? Homeboy opened up 6 back row. Literally just 6 back row. So let's take a look at what he does. He sets all the trap cards plus Dust Shoot. My opinion, that's maybe a little weird. I mean, I get that you can flip the Dust Shoot, and if I open Decree, then you can have the MST in hand to like just nuke it. But I also kind of feel like, I don't know, if I open like Decree plus another card, right, and I set them both and I don't preemptively activate either of them, then you're either left guessing or you have to force out my Decree, which means at least one of your cards is going to be eaten unless you get lucky with a Caius or an MST, right? Like to me, I would have rather just had the MST set just in case, but that's my 2 cents. I draw an Honest, which like that kind of breaks the hand, right? Then he goes Dust Shoot, and I think he takes the Caius here, yeah. Which like, that's fine, I guess. I personally maybe would have taken the Honest or the Nova Summoner, because like, what am I going to do with the hand of Herald, Honest, Fader, Caius, Braincon, right? I guess because I have the Braincon, he's like, oh, I don't wanna do anything. And then he Solemns my fucking Nova Summoner. This play blew my mind. Like, I guess the fear for him was like, oh, if I don't see a monster, he just wins by just swinging Nova Summoner, what would it be, 6 times? 6 would get us to, yeah, 6 times would get us to game. So he's like, let me just cut it off at the pass, let me sacrifice half my life points to stop the Nova Summoner. Which, like, sure, fine. He also, shoutouts Tin Man, he also did not put in like the little chat box right here what the rest of my cards in my hand were, which is good because you're not allowed to do that at Konami events, right? And then we see he drew and just set Chalice, and then he sets the MST and he passes. Which, it's crazy. If I had drawn a heavy storm here, I definitely would have slammed it, and I would definitely would have gotten my ass eaten by this goddamn Starlight. But no, I just draw Christia. So I'm like, well, if he judgmented my first monster, that kind of tells me he doesn't have any sort of battle traps. So I can just kind of poke with Honest, and then, see, he chalices me, which I'm like, that's a little weird. He's going to take an extra 400. But then I realize it's because it was chaliced, right? So I didn't, well, I actually didn't realize. Because I'm like, oh yeah, no, this will be fine. And then Tin Man goes, oh, actually, you can't, idiot. And I'm like, oh shit, you're right. And then he just summons the fucking Thunder King, and I'm like, ooh, not great. But yeah, we take like 800 over this, and we're kind of foaming at the mouth a little bit. But we do also have Brain Con, and see, we drew the decree for turn, so now we're like, okay, we can probably get aggressive here. So we Brain Con, attempt to take the T-King, and I think this is where he Dark Bribes, yeah. And then we draw another Herald. So now I'm left wondering, is it worth just setting the decree and passing? And I decide yes. Yes, it is. And then he MSTs my guy away. But now if you look here, we're tied in terms of cards in hand, right? So he gets in for 19, and I'm like, do I want that to happen? No, let me just summon the Fader. I can draw a Caius my way out of this, right? And I don't draw a Caius, but I sure do draw another Decree. So then here we just pass, right? So the reason I like Decree so much in the main is simply because in games like this, right? What was normally a tied game in terms of advantage, you will see, becomes a very untied game in terms of advantage. So he has 4 back row, all traps set, right? And in the end, it was like, well, fuck it. Let's just flip the Decree, because if he has a Dust Tornado that he just said, we don't want him to, like, get eaten, right? And then we draw a Sidra. And we're like, okay, well, this feels pretty alright. We swing over for 200, pretty easy stuff, fairly easy gameplay, you know what I mean? And then he just scoops. He's like, well, I can't sure beat that. So yeah, that was this game. It was pretty easy. I'm not gonna lie, it was made mad easy because we played Decree in the main. That's a huge part of the reason we won. Game 1 is the only reason we really won, I think. But yeah, so that's that replay. Pretty easy, pretty standard stuff, right? Let's go ahead and take it. This one from Lost Dude? No, not Lost Dude. From Yugeho, alright? So we see opening hands. Mine is E-Telly, Nova Summoner, Herald, Instant Fusion, Nova Summoner. This hand is clearly insane. We have Instant Fusion and E-Telly. We have a Herald live by pitching Nova Summoner. And we have a second Nova Summoner. That way we can still set one and keep the Herald live, which is awesome, right? Tragically, our opponent is going first, and their hand is broken. They opened Rhoda, E-Call, Subsitoad, Infernal Prodigy, Braincon 1-for-1. This is the god hand, right? Like this hand is insane because you go E-Call, Stratos, then you 1-for-1 for Subsitoad, you set up a Duplock and you pass and you kind of just win the game based off that, right? So let's go ahead and continue, see what he does. He goes search Stratos off Rhoda, which like I'm sure that's fine. Then he summons Stratos, and then I do something kind of stupid here. I herald the Stratos. The reason I did this, I'm gonna be clear, I thought he was playing Diva Hero. What the hell is this? So, the reason I did this, the reason I heralded the Stratos, was specifically because I thought he was on Diva Hero. Granted, I had no reason to think this. Frog Hero is obviously the more likely matchup that you'll encounter. Hero Beat even is maybe more likely. I don't know why I locked in so hard to Diva Hero. It's probably because I just played against my boy Dakota a little while ago, and he beat the dog shit out of me. In fairness, on a slightly different build of Chaos Fairies, but he did beat the dog shit out of me with Diva Hero. So I was scared as hell of this, right? So I was like, oh yeah, let me just herald the Stratos. Which that's never the correct play here, right? Obviously, as you will soon see. Because now he still has Duplock. It doesn't matter. And I'm like so terribly regretting the fucking herald on the Stratos. Because if I just saved it for the Ronin to Subsitoad, he goes activate effect, Tribute Infernal, Tribute, and then I herald the Subsitoad. And now he's on 2 cards. I guess 3 cards because he has a Stratos on board. I guess 4 cards actually because he gets the search off Stratos. To my 3, and I'm about to be at 4, so the advantage there would be like tied, right? I wouldn't have lost anything. Here, on the other hand, he ends on a live Treeborn. I'm gonna just actually fast forward through this. He ends, oh, just kidding, pause. So he ends on the pseudo dupe block, right? And once he does this, he has a live Treeborn in hand, so he's at effectively 5 cards, and I can't break through either of these two without like kind of going heavy down an advantage, right? So I'm kind of in a bad spot. I'm not looking super great for what it's worth. He also has a Brain Con, which I did not know about, but that's neither here nor there. As opposed to like if he's at 4 cards and I then get to 4 cards, I can play much better. But yeah, so he goes Dupe Frog and Substitute. So I'm thinking, oh, the other Dupe Frog must be in hand. Why would he not just go for double dupe, right? Then I'd deck a little bit more. I don't know why he didn't do that. Frog players down below, tell me if there's any particular reason why you would want to go substitute and dupe as opposed to just double dupe. I'm not well versed enough in frogs to understand that. But then I go, yeah, let me just go ahead and activate Instant Fusion, activate E-Telly, and then I think I make a Brio here to like bounce the Dupe Frog, I believe, to give him a dead Dupe Frog in hand. So now I'm thinking, oh, 2 of his cards in hand are Dupe Frog, so it doesn't like I can kind of still maybe come back from this game. And then for whatever reason I don't summon Nova Summoner. I don't know why. Oh, and I just decide to do nothing. I guess after I got pseudo duplot, I just started playing on tilt, which is never a good thing, right? So then he goes Treeborn. I'm really afraid of Kaya's here. Let's see what he does. He goes E-Call. What does he search here? Ocean. That's right. That's right. Oh, and then yeah, that's right. So then he Brain Cons my Brio, summons Ocean, gets in. So this is where the misplay was, right? Because he would have either have to have dedicated, not something the Nova Summoner was a huge misplay. Because he would have to either dedicated both cards in hand to like clearing the board and then getting in for what did he get in for? 38, or he would have had to have kept the MST and decided whether or not he wanted to bounce the Brio or bounce my Nova Summoner. You'll see here he decides to bounce the Brio, but that's because like obviously you would, or excuse me, get rid of the MST, I guess. But if you want to keep the Dupe Frog in hand, you have to make a choice there. And if you choose to bounce back the Brio and then swing Nova Summoner, and I just get advantage off of that, right? Now my position here would have been way fucking better, as opposed to where it's actually at. I'm also now realizing I huge misplayed here, because I think I play very passively here. Yeah, this is me just, yeah, so I decided to set and set, right? That is not the correct play. The way better play would have been summon Nova Summoners, Suicide into Ocean, Suicide Shining Angel into Ocean, summon, oh, actually, I don't think I'm on Warrior Lady in this build. Never mind, I played this, I didn't play this well, but I don't think that was the incorrect decision. If I was on Warrior Lady, the absolute correct play would have been Suicide, Warrior Lady, and then Crash, right? But then here he just starts like winning off of sheer advantage. Like I'm so far behind at this point, it's hard for me to do anything. I also preemptively flipped Decree, which is absolutely not the correct play. I should have waited for him to discard a card. I flipped Nova Summoner here, and now I'm like, oh, let me just start suiciding my Nova Summoner. I think I was really hoping he would swing into it. So then we go Shining Angel. We swing the Shining Angel as well. Oh no, we don't swing. Dude, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking in this game. I played this game so horribly. Holy shit. Again, this is what happens when you play on tilt, right? This is just life on tilt. And then he summons Ryza and he cleans up the game. Like, so then we just scoop it, and then we go next game. Now, next game, I think I play a healthy bit better. I don't really remember it so much, but let's find out together, friends. So here, my opening is kind of busted, right? I go Gores, Herald, Caius, Christia, and BrainCon. So I have 2 ways to convert the Caius off of BrainCon and Gores. I have a Herald live in hand, and if I happen to draw another fairy, I have the Herald in live plus maybe a Christia. He opens 1-for-1 Substitute, Caius, Ryza, Treeborn, right? So his hand's also looking very good, but we do get to go first. We draw the Shining Angel. I actually think do I do nothing here? I do. Okay, I think that was probably correct. He draws a Stratos for turn. He goes Stratos. We do not make the same misplay because we don't want to be bad as hell at the game. And this time he searches Alias because he has 2 troops in hand. It makes sense. He goes Battle Phase, swings 18. I'm like sick, nasty. We'll take that and then we'll summon Gores, right? Like that's just free value for us. Why would we not take that? Main Phase 2, he goes 1-for-1. He doesn't pitch Treeborn. Oh my god, that's such a huge throw on his part. I feel like you always pitch Treeborn here, no? Okay, so the opponent we're playing, let's take a look at his rating. 581 after, okay, so he's played hella Edison, so he should know pitching Treeborn's probably correct. So I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he's like trying to 5-head me here. But yeah, as you can see here, we say you can go fuck yourself, buddy. We're not letting you get shit. which is the correct way to play this game. Then he passes, we draw for turn. Soul Release is broken, but he has nothing good for us to Soul Release yet, right? So we decide to hold it. And then we just go Shining Angel, we just get in for a shit ton of damage, right? Yep. I do think maybe the slightly better play here would have been don't summon Shining Angel and just get in with Gores and the token. Because if he happens to have his own Gores, main phase 2, we can tribute the token. Actually, we can Brain Con his token, then tribute that to summon Archives to banish his Gores, so once again clear his board. That way, we don't have to be afraid of Monarchs, right? So that was kind of a baby misplay there. Here he draws Soul Exchange, which is crazy, but it's not enough to clear my board, right? Here I think he misplays a little bit again, because he decides to banish my Shining Angel. I probably would have reversed that just to get in for an extra 1,000. That's just my 2 cents. I understand that you don't want me to be at like 3 fairies engraved, but 3 is still less than 4. And if I see any of my recruiters, I immediately get to whatever number I want to be at, so it doesn't really matter too much. I feel like the extra 1,000 points of damage is pretty good. He doesn't know that I'm on Dim Elk, so he doesn't know if I have a way to recycle whatever he banishes, right? But yeah, so then he decides to just, he goes for that play. He's like, sure, I guess I'll not burn for 1,000 and I'll leave the 1,800 monster on board. Like, what are you gonna do? And then we show him what we're gonna do. We just tribute, we just banish his Caius, and then we just win the game right here, right? So now we're going into game 3. Game 3 is maybe the best played by both of us. I could be wrong. I haven't watched this replay yet, so it's possible that I actually played mad sloppy. My hand here is looking like okay. BrainCon, Caius, Sork, Honest, Instant Fusion. Like, yes, I opened a Light and a Dark and a way to convert the Caius and also the Sork, which is, like, not bad. But I have no way to use this Honest, and I have almost no way to use this Instant besides tributing for Caius. His hand, however, looks kind of similar, right? He opened Torrential, Econ, MST, Alias, and Caius, right? He decides to start and he draws Ocean, which is, like, not the best here. So he just summons Alias, sets Torrential, MST, and passes. So then we draw E-Telly. And E-Telly here is huge. It's arguably like one of the best draws we could have had in this position, right? So let's take a look at what we do. Yeah, we go Instant Fusion first, which I think is always correct. We always summon the fucking Musician King, 100%. And then we decide to E-Telly, right? So we haven't even used our normal yet. And then I think here he decides to Torrential? Yeah, he does. Which I don't think that's necessarily incorrect. It's a 2-for-2 trade on his part, which is, you know, not bad. And then here, I think we just summon Honest, swing 11. Oh, no, we don't even do that. I guess we're afraid of Geki Break. I guess that tracks. Next play. Here he just summons Ocean and passes. And then we're like, all right, fuck it. Let's just try to get him for damage. So we Brain Con the Ocean, and then we tribute it off for Caius, banishing the back row, which is an MST. And then we just swing 24. And as y'all notice, we did draw the Soul Release, which is going to be huge because he just drew his Treeborn, right? And he decides to set the Treeborn, which I kind of get because I don't have enough monsters to like be able to utilize anything here. And then here I think I just swing. We see a Treeborn there, and we're like, all right, well that's worth enough to Soul Release. Where we're both kind of like playing a more grindy matchup where we're trying to run cards out, right? So let me banish his 2 heroes, let me banish his Treeborn, and we'll run him out of resources. And then we just pass, because like even if he has a Soul Exchange, what's he gonna do? Like summon a Caius and then banish itself? And like we see exactly that happen, right? So he has an Econ there. And I think here, oh no, we accidentally sent our Caius to grave, which is not the best. Then we just swing 24, and I think, oh, he just takes it, doesn't even activate the Econ. And then we set Angel here. The idea here, I think, was, yeah, we don't mind losing the Caius, just because like it gets another fairy engraved, and that puts us at 1, which is not bad. And then we have the Chaos Orb to be able to deal with whatever else he has, right? And then he says Tribute Caius, and I'm like, sure. Which again, I don't think this is necessarily correct. I do think the 1,000 damage can be very valuable. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but it just kind of is what it is. And then here, obviously, we have to go Chaos Orc, and we have to banish the fucking guy, right? And now he's thinking, what's he thinking on? What's his back row? Oh, Econ. He's trying to think of whether or not it's worth stealing the sword. And I guess he decides against it, which I don't disagree with. And then what we're doing here, instead of preemptively setting the Mask of, or activating the Mask of Restrict, is we're trying to see if he has a way to like, because if he activates Soul Exchange and then we chain the Mask of Restrict, we effectively eat a card out of his hand, right? And now we go for Dim Elk, and Dim Elk here is going to be huge. So we activate the Dim Elk, we banish Christia, which is pretty good for us. And then we just go battle phase. We're like, yeah, we'll just get in for 18 because that's pretty okay. Here I think he grabs Swap Frog, right? Which is, again, phenomenal for us. If he decides he wants to special the Swap Frog to get a tribute off, he has to discard a card in their hand, summon Swap Frog, and then we just activate the Mask of Restrict. And now he's out 2 cards out of hand because the Swap Frog is not going to live unless he returns it back to hand. Which maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but if he decides to do that, he just loses, right? Then we activate Mask of Restrict. He decides to return the Swap Frog back to, or no, decides to activate the effect to send it. And then I could be wrong. I think he scoops it up here. No, he doesn't. Very weird. Because that's an econ back there, right? So then, yeah, we just activate the Sork, banish that guy. And then we switch the Sork to defense, which is, oh, that's right. We have game because it's just 1300. He decides to switch the guy to defense. And we're like, okay, we could have maybe not done that a little better. I mean, I guess we could have also summoned Honest, but I didn't want to, like, play into Mirror Force, which is why I switched the Sork to defense. I'm like, just in case, I want to preserve as much advantage on my side as possible. He decides to special Treeborn, and I think he then sets the, Infernal Prodigy. And then we draw a Caius. We realize we can't use it, but that's okay because we get to banish the second Treeborn. This is where we realize we can't use it because we have a Mask of Restrict up, right? But then we just normal summon the fucking Mind Master and we just make a 7 here. We just summon the Black Rose. And then we just switch the Alta attack. And then we're just like, alright, time to get in for game. And I believe here he scoops, yeah, this is where he scoops. Also notice no GGs or anything, he just leaves, right? Kinda rude, but it is what it is. And yeah, so that's the end of the 2 replays that I had. There is technically a 3rd replay, but like nothing really happens in that replay. We start the game, and I think Homeboy immediately scoops it up, and then we just win. So that's not great. I know I had a match against Vayu Turbo somewhere here. I can't seem to find it. Maybe the record just got lost to time, which is a shame. Because that was, I think, the 3rd game I played in this set of replays that I wanted to show y'all. And I did get my ass beat by that deck. So I kind of want to show off, like, where I could have maybe played a little bit better, right? That having been said, that's about it for this, I guess, inaugural episode of Replay Review. I don't know if this will be a series or not. It will probably likely just be something I do when I forget to hit record on, like, matches I'm playing through. But it is really nice to go back and review to, like, see how I could have maybe played a little bit better. Again, I am really out of practice, and Fairies, I think, is a deck that's very easy to misplay with. So I'm very glad to be, like, dedicating all this time to, like, learning how to play the deck a little bit better. I do have a new brew for Fairies lined up and ready to go. But I need to build it on DB first. But I have it built on Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia, by the way. If y'all are iPhone users and y'all don't want to go through the work of downloading Edo Pro on your phone, Wikipedia is a decent substitute to like test hands and stuff. I like it a lot, at least. But yeah, that's it from me. If y'all enjoyed the video, y'all enjoyed the vibes, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. And if y'all caught any misplays that I happen to missed, talking to you, Matthew, feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, I guess just, you know, let me know how y'all like this. If y'all like me talking over reviews and like talking about the misplays I made and the misplays my opponent made, let me know down below and I can definitely do more of this, right? But yeah, that's it for me. Until next time, I will catch you sweet and spicy, sexy ass duelists. Later. Peace.